Hey everyone, it's Dr. Rick on this beautiful morning. But I wanted to talk about a couple things because this beautiful morning is different than what I've experienced in the last couple months. Change in weather is occurring now. Usually at 5:30 in the morning, there's going to be a bit of sunlight. It's going to start with the heat. Now it's about 7:30, and it's overcast, and it is chilly. Well, chilly compared to hot Florida weather. But the idea is that when there's a change, you should understand that the pattern in weather is indicating the hallmarks or the entry into fall. Those of you who are subscribers to my YouTube channel or members of my Herbal 411 Warrior group, it's important to make lifestyle changes. And this is why I do videos. This is why I see patients virtually or in the clinic. It's to empower people to make changes. Changes are difficult. Otherwise, everybody would be lean, muscular, and live to 100. But we don't have that. And the industries that are out there, food, drug, hospital, medical insurance, they're all businesses built upon disease. And I honor that. But we as individuals have to take the reins and try to change around what ails us or what the problem is. So in getting to the idea about how to change those four things: muscle, mood, immune system, and motivation, it's important to start with getting an assessment of where you are. And I don't want to get too deep into where things started, but if you are on the journey to make life better and maybe reverse disease, maybe get off medications with their side effects, or maybe just avoid the surgery that's coming, it's important to change those four things. I think summer in Chicago is awesome because there's a lot of stuff to do, and there's festivities, and there's things that allow you to exercise, things that allow you to get outside the nature and control your mood. There's things that will improve your immune system, and there's groups or places that you can go to increase your motivation because it's good weather. Now, in Chicago, it gets cold, and when it gets cold, it seems to catch us suddenly, but it's just because we're not listening to the weather, listening to or looking at the changes. The idea is, with a change in shorter days, longer nights, lower temperature, lower barometric pressure, it should hallmark to us that we have to kind of tidy things up because those options for summer and outdoors are slowly whittling away. Your runway is getting shorter and shorter. The idea that I usually empower my patients with regards to overarching themes to lifestyle change are to take advantage of good weather, experiment with new things that you haven't ever tried, just to increase your toolbox of what you're going to rely on in the long run. Trying a new Park District class of Pilates, yoga, HIIT training, or personal training in the summer is much easier to do it than the winter because nobody wants to go out. And that's why I mentioned those four things. So if you're used to just taking strolls outside or going to a gym, there was a group of people at F45 that were exercising outside. I thought that was very commendable. And I'll see if they're still there by the time I get back. But it just gives you more options to exercise outside, develop muscle. In addition, the getting out instead of staying in, it sometimes gives you nature therapy. If you don't have nature or a green pasture, just looking at the sun and the sky and blue, these two colors, green at the bottom, blue at the top, are very relaxing, and the body knows that. Or a fire, the orange crackling of a fire, very calming. But it's hard to get that when it's freezing outside and you're sheltered indoors. We don't know what's going to happen with this new variant, 2.75. So BA 2.75, not to detract from this, but BA 2.75 is the new variant offspring of BA.5, which is an offspring from Omicron, but it's starting in the southern hemisphere. Who knows? Hopefully it's just as easy as 5 and you'll fly through your infection, but your immune system should be good. So that's where I think that getting out on a regular basis, engaging other folks, stimulating conversation, being more active, or being in the garden, getting microbiome and dirt on your hands, all that stuff is important. And sometimes when we shelter for winter and come out of the summer, you don't have those options anymore, at least until next year. Again, your runway is getting shorter and shorter and shorter. So I'd like to suggest that we take advantage. Now, it's not too late, but we still have August, September, October. Usually by Halloween, there's a transition, and you get your jackets out, you get your boots out, and you don't go out as much. So it's important to take advantage now, or at least set a goal. So those of you who are my patients, you know I always push you to do the best that you can do when the opportunity arises. That doesn't mean in wintertime we just forget training, but we do have a little bit of a limitation to experiment in the winter. So in the next 3 months, I expect you guys to try to maximize on exercise, nutrition, weight loss, sleep hygiene, or a good sleep-wake cycle. And hopefully the immune system will take care of itself no matter what we get confronted with in the fall. As far as the motivation part, I think it's important to embrace social gatherings. So in COVID, obviously you want to stay away from close contact because you don't know who's infected. And this BA.4, BA.5 is really fast in moving, but most people get by in about 5 to 7 days. Sore throat, stuffy nose, body aches, fever, chills. Now, if you have an immunocompromised situation, prediabetes, high blood pressure, obesity, problems with autoimmune disease, you are at risk, or if you're on medicines, you are at risk for not doing well because of the fact that you're immunocompromised. Sometimes, even if it's an easy variant, it can wreak havoc with your immune system, and it will be challenging. So please try to reverse your disease process, and that takes time. So don't beat yourself up. Going through self-sabotage is not good. It's a demotivator. And I think that when you have nice folks around you, or say a class, yoga class, or a HIIT training class, or a Pilates class, CrossFit, or even if you just go to a gym. I don't really hang out with anybody in the gym because, sorry, but it slows down my progress. I know what to do and I implement it. But the problem with some beginners is that you have to be with people that will show you what to do. In many cases, if I am not motivated and it's like a bad day, or I'm just exhausted from the day before, I'll just go there, do a half-ass workout, and get through. But I'll still have a dopamine hit because I finished something. In this time, I personally am doing hypertrophy training. I was doing a lot of cutting in the beginning of summer. Now it's time to bulk, and then I'll cut again. That's just my bodybuilding brain talking. I'll cut again, probably in the winter time, right before winter. But the idea is I'm always trying to utilize the best parts of exercise, nutrition, sleep, mood control when the opportunity is there. So going back to my original idea, please try to engage change. If you don't have a change, or if you've postponed the introduction of something cool, exercise, nutrition, mindful practice, don't worry, it's not too late. Again, you have August, September, October. So I think there's enough time in 90 days to effectively implement a change of sorts. And if you happen to like it, then great. You put that in your tool bag and maybe come up with another experiment, activity-wise or nutrition-wise. And if it works well, put that in your tool bag. If it doesn't work well, cross it off and just remember that didn't work well. So I think that having variety is very important for the long haul. To sustain one diet or one exercise routine for life is usually, although guys are very methodical and they like ritual, I think it is easy to ritualize an exercise or a nutrition practice, but I think the spice of life is when you have variety and the use of, say, for example, the dietary changes, plant-based versus carnivore versus paleo, keto. They're all good if they work for you and if they're sustainable. HIIT training versus cardiovascular fitness versus endurance versus bodybuilding versus other forms of exercise, yoga, tai chi, Pilates, they're all good too, but will you do them? So the lifestyle plan that is not sustainable, it's probably better to say, I'll just do this for a short time and I'll get back to my other tool. So again, having a wide variety of different tools, especially in Chicago, different seasons, different tools you can implement. If you get bored, you implement a change. But if you only have one tool in your toolbox, that really limits your success. So try to get as much exposure as possible. If you don't have a park district that you can test out a class or two, then search. There might be groups online. If you're apprehensive on getting out in public, you can find a lot. Again, if that group is still training, I'll pass by and show you, but that's cool. It's outdoors. It's going to stop soon, but at least those folks are trying to do the best that they can while the weather is here. And truthfully, most of them look really fit. So props to F45. So just try your best to continuously have an overarching plan that you must change what got you here. So whether it's obesity, high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, elevated glucose, mood disorder, autoimmune states, all those things, I really think, even cancer to a certain degree, I think they're reversible. Most diseases are caused by stuff that you introduce into your life and they present as disease. And I think because the fact that you got to that point after 40 years, if you backtrack or reverse engineer how you got there, you might be able to reverse the disease. So I always give hope to patients about trying to live a healthy life. Hopefully this gives you a couple ideas to get moving, get off your ass, try a couple things. I have an 80-year-old that I'm taking care of virtually, and just to see her stand, it took about 30 seconds to stand. And there are so we have a lot to work with, but I think that even in that situation, there's always an option. It's not that one diet, one exercise type will take care of everybody, but it should be personalized. Now, if your doctor doesn't have the time to give you personal care, forgive them. That's just the way insurance works. But you'll have to seek out your own care and optimizing your health on your own. So I hopefully can help you with that. And I am available too if you have if you're lost or you don't have a doctor, click the link down below and you can become a patient of mine. Even if it's virtual, I can still coach you. I have patients from across the world that I take care of. I have patients across the States or United States I take care of. I coach them mostly on healthy lifestyle change, but please consider either finding me, joining my practice, or search out on your own. You might be able to find somebody, maybe not a physician, but somebody that has a decent amount of reviews that are positive to guide you out of the rut. So hopefully, if you can change things before the next 90 days hits, and then we'll talk about other things to implement through the winter into spring, and then blossom in the spring and continue our plan. But we have to change muscle, we have to change mood, we have to change immunity, and we have to change motivation. So remember those things. Hopefully it gives you direction. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section down below. Otherwise, get outside, stay healthy, and I'll see you at the next video.